Welcome in, everyone, to another Thursday Night Football preview. Everyone loved when I did this last week. It was probably a more exciting game, but we're back. We're going to do it again this week. If you like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's jump straight into previewing the Bears and the Panthers, starting with quarterback. Bryce Young. I have him at quarterback 19 this week. You can't trust him. He had three interceptions last week. He's completely off my fantasy radar, but he's still better than the other quarterback in this game. The Bears, unfortunately, don't have Justin Fields. He's going to miss one more week with his thumb injury. So they have Tyson Bagent, who's even worse, also had 3 interceptions last week. And there's just no way you can play Bagent. Unfortunately, he crushes a lot of the upside of their other fantasy weapons, which we'll talk about later. But he's an absolute must-sit, even against the Panthers defense. Moving on to running back. Chuba Hubbard is my favorite running back in this game, and I have him at running back 20. In most situations, you're going to start him. He's had 15 carries in each of the last 3 games, 7 total receptions among those 3, and 65% snap share more in all of them. The Bears' rushing defense, it's been better lately. I will say that. It's been a tougher matchup lately, but based on the volume, Chuba Hubbard is way ahead of Miles Sanders. You're going to play Chuba Hubbard in most situations, especially with 4 teams on bye. Now, as for the Bears running backs, I had a different segment dialed up when Khalil Herbert was going to play, but now Khalil Herbert is not expected to play. It's odd because he practiced in full all week. I would have thought he would have played, but since he's not going to play, that leaves the door open for Foreman, who had 20 carries last week, 59% snap share. Didn't have any receiving work, but he's been dominating the carry work over Roschon Johnson. There's no doubt for me between Foreman and Johnson that Foreman is the clear starter. So it's tough. He doesn't have a high floor because there's just no receiving work. But in most spots, you probably have to play Foreman. I'd rather play him over like waiting for James Conner or something like that this weekend. So you're probably playing him. I get being a little skeptical. Now, speaking of the Bears running backs, you cannot play Roschon Johnson. He had 2 carries for 6 yards last week. He's not getting a lot of passing work. The Panthers' run defense is one of the best matchups, but they've been better in the last 2 games since their week 7 bye. So while I like the talent of Roschon Johnson, even with Khalil Herbert out, I think some people are going to want to play him. I have him at RB41. He's completely off my radar. I'm not planning on playing Roschon Johnson in any spots this week. And then lastly, Miles Sanders, don't waste your time. He's been benched. He's been horrible. He's still dealing with a groin injury. He's not 100% healthy. RB42. And honestly, that's generous. Don't play him. Now, if you like what we're doing here, make sure to sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/fantasyadvice. You can get my full rankings, not just this little preview, but my full start-sit rankings every week. I'm offering a 7-day free trial for all new patrons, and the link, which I can never seem to point to, is up at the top right corner of the video. You can click on that, and you'll be directed to the link for all the tiers. And of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you like this video. And now with that said, let's move into the wide receivers. Adam Thielen is the only must-start wide receiver in this game. I have him at wide receiver 6. I know the last couple of weeks hasn't been as great. Last week, he had 5 for 29 on 6 targets. That's a down week for him, 7.9 PPR points. This week is going to be better. The Bears defense is nothing special. DJ Chark is out, which is only going to open up more opportunity for Adam Thielen. I'm fine playing him. I mean, more than fine. He's a wide receiver 1 this week. He's easy play. Now, of all the players in this game, I really think the next one is the only one where there are really questions, and that's DJ Moore. DJ Moore is really one of the only players where I'm kind of on the fence. When I thought it was Justin Fields starting, I had DJ Moore around wide receiver 15. But with Tyson Bagent, he just doesn't have the same preference for DJ Moore over the other players, and he's not as good of a passer as Justin Fields. So with Bagent, DJ Moore's best output is 8 for 54. He hasn't had more than 55 yards in any game. Far cry from that 8 catches, 230 yards, and 3 touchdowns that he had in week 5 in Fields' last full game. So, given that there are a lot of teams on bye, you probably have to play DJ Moore, but I'm not excited. There's no ceiling here. So, wide receiver 25, you can play him. Speaking of someone a little intriguing, let's look at Jonathan Mingo. So as I mentioned, DJ Chark is going to be out with his elbow injury. So that opens the door even wider for Mingo. He's played an 86% snap share in the last 4 games and 99% in the last 2. But because he hasn't scored a touchdown all year, he hasn't really gotten onto the fantasy football radar. And over the last 2 weeks, he just has 5 catches for 67 yards total on 9 targets. So he hasn't really broken out yet, but there's a lot of teams on bye. DJ Chark is out. It's a good matchup. This is an opportunity for Jonathan Mingo to break out. If he does nothing in this game, I'm going to be concerned for Dynasty. As for the starts at wide receiver 46, you can play him if you're desperate. Not really someone I'm looking to play, but there are worse dart throws than Jonathan Mingo because he's literally out there every single snap, which gives him an opportunity to succeed. Speaking of players I don't think have much of an opportunity to succeed, though, Darnell Mooney, wide receiver 55. Cole Kmet has been emerging as Tyson Bagent's second favorite target, so it's not Darnell Mooney. You can't play him. Wide receiver 55 is just because there's some teams on bye. He's total must sit this week. As I mentioned, Cole Kmet. It's interesting. He was really great in the last couple of games. He's had 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. 16 catches over the last 2 games. But in the first 2 games with Bagent, he had 2 catches for 9 yards. So very strange. He's a risk. Tight end has become a deeper position. There's a lot of guys I actually want to start. Taysom Hill, of course, Evan Ingram, Kittle, Jake Ferguson. I have all those guys ahead of Cole Kmet, who I have a tight end 11. You could get the 2 touchdowns from last week, but with Bagent at quarterback, I think that was a once in a blue moon opportunity. I'm not relying on Cole Kmet as more than a low-end tight end 1 this week. But if you have him and you play him, you have the shot of a big game. So I don't mind playing him. But in contrast, Hayden Hurst, forget it. The Panthers are splitting tight end reps between Tommy Tremble, Steven Sullivan, and Hurst almost equally. You can't play any Panthers tight end. And lastly, the DSTs. The Bears, I have at DST 15. Bryce Young had 3 turnovers in the last game. But other than that, that's about the only positive thing to say about the Bears defense. not much else great there. And as for the Panthers, DST 16, similarly, Tyson Bagent could turn the ball over. But if I had to pick between the 2, I'd rather play the Bears because I think the Bears offense is just going to run some more. Whereas I think the Panthers offense is more likely to pass. So I think the Panthers defense is not quite as good of a play. They're less likely to have turnovers and sacks than the Bears, but neither of them are a top 12 defense for me, which means that they're both off my radar. With that said, I appreciate everyone for watching this video. If you like it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you have any other ideas for new video series I should do. And keep a lookout tomorrow for my main start sit video with my must starts and must sits for this weekend's slate. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all next time. Peace out.